Well,
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. Um, Thanks for joining me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Of course. Um, your name's Envy.
Yes, my name is Envi Jordan.
My name's Jay Henry. This is Seattle's Best Brunch.
Hey.
We're going to talk a little bit about where we're at, but first, um, I listened to a bunch of your interviews
Mm,
before coming here. So I want to know, you said something. You said, who I am is always changing.
yeah, that's a fact.
That's a fact for everyone. So my question is, who are you now?
Who I am right now is someone that is comfortable in their skin.
Nice. I love that. Everyone should be that person. Okay, so you're Envy Jordan, you're comfortable in your own skin, and we are in where?
Life on Mars, the first vegan, well, not even just the first vegan, the first place I ever ate after moving to Seattle.
Wow.
I got to my, Airbnb after the airport. I was hungry. I needed something to eat, and this was the closest spot. I remember I was new to being in a walkable city, so I was a bit, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was shy to walk. So I took an Uber for the super short distance that it was.
Yeah.
And I came here. It was the first place that fed me, first meal I had after moving to Seattle. So this is a very special location for me.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. Cool, like vinyl records in the wall here. Maybe we'll play some of them. Maybe we won't. We'll have to figure out how that turntable works. Do you remember what you ate your first time here?
Yeah, I had 3 tacos, French fries, and a tiramisu. I remember being,
Damn.
I was so excited to eat the tiramisu because it was my favorite dessert before veganism.
Uh-huh.
And I saw that on the menu. I was like, oh, they have tiramisu or tiramisu. It's my favorite, but I can't ever say it right. I was so excited to see that they had that and ordered that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you like about tiramisu? Because personally, I think it's overrated.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny because I actually don't like coffee.
Oh yeah.
Me and caffeine don't get along. Caffeine drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But I love tiramisu. I just love the flavor of it. It's very different. It's not like a boring chocolate cake or a boring strawberry cake or something. It's something different. So, and here at Life on Mars, not that I'm doing a commercial, but they put fruits and stuff on it, and it's just really good. So
Yeah.
that was my first dessert.
Okay.
It's coming
Well,
here
maybe
as
we'll have to try it here at Life on Mars.
well.
Just kidding.
And
Not
shout
commercial.
out to John Richards, the owner.
Yes,
Of
and
course.
Jenna
And Jenna.
for
Oh my
helping
God.
organize
Jenna's
all
amazing.
this. Yeah, and Mike for letting us in. Shout out to Mike.
Yes, lots of people to shout out.
They're all goats. They're all goats. Cool. So you've been a vegan for a while. We're going to get into your music. We're going to get into a lot of things.
Mhm.
Again, I looked at your music. I watched interviews. I went through your entire Instagram. Like,
Oh, wow.
I really tried to understand and find things that I found interesting that I'd love to chat and pick your brain on a little bit more.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sit back because it feels a little bit more comfortable. But your posture is like incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so you practiced veganism for a while. I used to be vegan, not anymore, but I applaud people that choose that lifestyle and stick to it.
Lifestyle.
Huh?
You said lifestyle. Choose that lifestyle. Yeah, it is a bit of a
Or
lifestyle.
like a diet choice.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I think veganism becomes more of a lifestyle because you start to be like, okay, well, I'm not wearing leather clothes. I'm not wearing fur clothes unless you are. And then there's different types of vegans. I'm not judging.
Well, everything I have on is cotton today. So
Okay. Made from sheep.
no, cotton is a plant.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. It's early.
Yeah.
How long have you been vegan?
I started being close to vegan when I was around 16, because that's the age I found out that I was lactose intolerant. So I stopped eating pretty much anything with dairy. And then when I stopped eating dairy, I found that my skin cleared up. I had really bad acne as a teenager. And when I stopped eating dairy, my skin cleared up.
Mm-hmm.
And then what brought me to veganism, I think the fact that I was avoiding so many foods because of the dairy thing.
Yeah.
That I basically ended up eating near vegan, and I already didn't eat red meat.
Okay.
I already didn't eat pork. There was already so many things that I didn't eat, so it just was an easy choice. So during the pandemic, when I was spending too much time on the internet, Googling what ingredients kill you and what kills you and everything, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be vegan. You know, people around me are getting, people getting sick, and I wanted to do the best that I could to set my immune system and my health up to handle anything, to handle a pandemic or anything worse. So that's really, I think the pandemic's what pushed me to go full on vegan.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like most things can kill you at some point, even like iceberg lettuce, which is wild.
Even veganism can kill you with the stuff that they're putting in the water and your drink. Yeah. It's not, well, I'm not saying a conspiracy. I said stuff they're putting in the water that does sound a bit conspiracy theory, but
conspiracy
I mean with the chemicals that are in the water.
Yeah. Stay safe, people. Okay, we're going to jump around a little bit because I also saw on your Instagram that you submitted a couple things to the Grammys.
Oh, that post? That's a joke.
Was it a joke? I was like,
yeah, that was a joke.
What was it, like best song preview? I was like, is that a category?
It was like best Instagram song snippets.
Yeah.
Because before...
Did you win?
Last year? Before last year, like when I released the Secrets mixtape, for years, I want to say from like maybe 2021 to 2024, I was constantly posting music snippets and being like, oh, I'm going to release soon. And it became a thing where no one believed me that I was ever going to release my music. And rightfully so. So I was sort of poking fun at that. I was like, oh, best Instagram music snippets category, because that's all I ever released at that time was Instagram story snippets filling my laptop of the song I was working on. Until I finally started releasing in October 2024, like 3 years after. I'd been posting snippets for like 3 years.
Art takes time.
Exactly. Well, I think it was more so that I needed to be ready. I was not ready for as long as I've been making music, which is
a long time.
9 years. Yeah. I don't think I was ever really ready to release until the time that I started doing it, which was October 2024.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was ready to have my debut single until now, because I think this industry is rough, not just on, it can be rough on the mental, it can be rough on confidence, a lot of different areas, and I think you need to be stable in who you are to step into it the right way and to last if you're in it for the long haul. And now I'm at that point. Yeah. So that's when I released the music when I was ready.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the first release was Secrets, right?
The first release was Secrets Volume 1.
Yeah, which was a pretty vulnerable thing to put out as your first project.
Yeah, because I had Volume 1 and most of Volume 2 ready at the same time, and I was debating if I was going to put Volume 2 out first or Volume 1, but I was like, I'd rather get the dark stuff out the way first and then release Volume 2, because Volume 2 is more reflective of who I am today. And Volume 1 is more reflective of my past, because those songs are pretty much diary entries. I never really, wrote in a diary. I always just wrote songs. So my music always reflected where I was in life. And Volume 1, those songs were written through the age of 20 through 21, around there. So that's where I was then. And then Volume 2 is more recent, and it reflects now.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to ask because Volume 1, definitely more vulnerable, a little bit darker, like you said, touches on challenges with family, parents, relationships, just like a lot of things of that nature. Felt very healing in a way, cathartic maybe. And then Volume 2 is like you're dancing, you're having fun. Yeah. So I was going to ask like what happened between the two, but it sounds like they were kind of done around the same time. But the second one's a little bit more of a celebration, or
I completed both.
You completed both, okay.
And is what I meant when I had they were ready to release at the same time. Like but when I released Volume 1, most of Volume 2 was already done. It's just that I was holding onto the songs for so long. I would say Volume 1 was pretty much recorded when I lived in Georgia, and then when I first moved to Seattle and was sort of unpacking my entire life. Because when I first came to Seattle, it was sort of an emotional roller coaster.
Really?
I thought it would be like a big happy moment, and it was. When I first moved out, maybe for the first couple of days I was really happy.
Uh-huh.
And then it felt like my entire life just fell on me. And I was sad. I was in my, it's embarrassing, but I was in my apartment crying. I was really sad. I felt very lonely.
Yeah.
And I just felt so haunted by my past. So, like I made a batch of songs that were sort of letting out the rest of the feelings from my life in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then I'd say after summer 2023, that's when I started getting, summer, fall 2023, I started getting a little bit of happiness back in my life. And that's when the Volume 2 songs started rolling in. And like Christmas 2023, like the end of 2023. I want to say it was Christmas. Yeah, Christmas 2023. It had to be that because it came out in 2024. That's when a lot of Volume 2 started coming out and started coming out of me and all through the early 2023 up until hours before release. Because I'm going to be honest, when it comes to my releases, for the mixtapes at least, they were worked on. Like I was still changing stuff in the mix until like the day that it came out. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But that's pretty much how that happened. It was just letting it out. I never know what a project's gonna be about when I start it because I'm pretty much just writing what's on my mind.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I started making those songs, I didn't know that the end result would be, oh, Secrets Volume 1. And the name was called Secrets because that's what the lyrics are. They're my secrets. And things that people that know me wouldn't guess or really expect.
Yeah.
So that's why I called it Secrets.
Do you feel like you'll have more secrets to tell in the future, like a Volume 3, 4, or 5?
I want to do another mixtape. I'm focused on albums.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focused on. But right now, I'm not sure if I'm making an EP or an album. I'm just gonna see whichever makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But the Secrets concept, no, I'm done. I'm done with that. It's a closed book, Volume 1, Volume 2. It's complete. It's a complete story. It's just the story of my late teen to young adult. That story is done. Moving forward, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna keep writing about my life. That's what I'm doing right now on the album. But it's the songs have been happy. I don't have anything. I have one that's a little bit bittersweet, but that's life. I have one that's a bit bittersweet so far. And you know, as I'm writing it, I'm like, well, I guess these are feelings you still have. The fact that you wrote this is a way you're still feeling.
Yeah.
So there's one song that's kind of like that, if it ends up being on the track list. One that I've made so far out of the batch of new songs. But yeah, my music will always pretty much just be reflective of whatever's going on with me. That's how I can enjoy it and it can feel authentic for me. And I feel like that's how other people can connect to it if it's coming from a real place.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You said in a different interview or post or what have you that music when you were growing up that was vulnerable and authentic really helped you as you were trying to understand your identity and feel comfortable in it and feel like some sort of like sanctuary in music because potentially you weren't getting that at home or the environment you were in. And I totally agree. You know, like a lot of artists, when they're vulnerable, really open up opportunities for other people that may not be artists or they are to also be like, oh, okay, I'm also going through that.
Yeah. It makes you feel like you're not cursed. Like, oh, other people have this problem too.
Yeah.
Like lives that really helped me were The Velvet Rope by Janet Jackson and
9 Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails, yes.
It's so wild. I wouldn't.
The Downward
not have
Spiral.
guessed that, yeah.
Yes, that album. It really helped me. I love Trent Reznor. He's great.
He's super talented. Yeah. What is it about that album, 9 Inch Nails specifically, that like really captivated you?
Why I really got attached to that album is it's just so raw. Like there's no filter in the way it's in the lyrics, the way it's mixed, nothing. It's just raw. And as someone who really used to suffer from perfectionism, I needed to hear an album like that. That's just, it just gives it to you. And that really made an impression on me.
Yeah.
And I think even having the confidence to put out Secrets, I think I got that from even listening to The Downward Spiral and The Velvet Rope. Because I was like, if they can admit these things on record and just put it out and be selfless enough to put it out and realize, okay, everyone's gonna know that I'm not perfect, which none of us are perfect, but it's gonna help other people and people can relate to it. I was like, I can do the same thing. These are people I respect. So did it. Don't regret it.
Love that. And your style very much resembles that era across the board too, across like all your influences, which I have them listed here, but which I particularly enjoy, right? It has kind of like this 90s pop dance, a little bit of rock, a little bit of R&B, and to my ears. Which one is 90s are coming back. So you're like primed to tackle that sort of way. But yeah, it's kind of cool. There's one song, let me see if I can find it, on Secrets Volume 1, Mirage.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that production. Because you're not really singing on it, but there's a story, which is super cool. But it also feels like a late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
You're walking through a dark city. Maybe you just hooked up with someone, but you're smoking a cigarette.
Mirage is it's an interlude that I felt was necessary to carry the story of the project. And it's sort of like a spoken word, sort of poem, sort of thing. And it's just my true, at that time, pessimistic feelings. It's a very pessimistic. It's written from a very pessimistic perspective, but that's how I felt at that time. And it's honest. I don't think. Maybe the words I'm saying in there, I'd have to listen to it again or read the lyrics again to remember what I said. But I remember I said something pretty, I remember my attitude at that time towards love and relationships was pretty pessimistic. So.
But what about now?
Now, I'm not really focused on that at all. At all. I'm focused on my career. Music is my lover at this time. I've sort of ducked out of
music is my lover.
Love. Life stuff for like a year or 2 years. I've had my experiences, and I'm sure there's better experiences ahead, but right now I just focus on music. I'm not thinking about any guy.
Which is interesting. Hey, how you doing? By the way, we're in an actual restaurant and there's stuff going on. So you may hear some background noise, which is interesting just to comment on that because your music's quite sexual.
It is, right? It is, which...
Like very sexual.
And you know what's so funny is that you actually haven't heard nothing yet.
Really? It's not get crazy?
The album is a bit more out there, but like I said, I write how I feel. So... And that's part of being human. I am a very sensual person. Very sensual. And that's why I'm always laughing and smiling. People are always asking me, why are you always smiling all the time? That's why.
And
it's in the music. That's why it's in the music.
What do you feel like is it very intentional that you want that to be part of your music, or do you think naturally just comes out as you're writing?
Yeah, nothing is ever, I never am like, oh, I'm going to write about this. It's just, I write. And what's on my mind is what I write about. And I guess lately that's been on my mind a lot. So, especially now, the way I write is different from when I was doing mixtapes. When I did mixtapes, I would start with a beat and then write over it. Now I just write from nothing. So I just start with a melody that's in my head, or maybe a hook comes to mind, or sometimes a verse will come to mind. So I do the lyrics first, production after now. So my music, I feel like that's why I really like the album, because it's not even, it's like completely made from scratch by me in the way of, when you start with a beat, the beat's almost guiding you on what to do with the song. But maybe even the chords of the beat or the feeling of the beat might even guide you of what to write about. Because you could listen to a beat and think, oh, this sounds like a sad song. Let me write something sad over it. But when you're just writing first and doing the production after, it's just whatever is coming straight from me. So I like creating this.
And are you doing your own production, or you work with someone?
I work with a producer in London.
In London, okay.
And I work with Different DJs slash producers as well from just around the world, because I do everything remote. One thing about starting making music 9 years ago is I got so used to doing everything remote that even when I moved to Seattle, even though now of course I do have access to producers I could work with in person, I'm just so used to doing things remotely that I've continued to do that. My song Tonight with DJ Tony H, we worked on that completely remotely. Actually, we hadn't seen each other in probably 6 months, like a long time. We hadn't seen each other in person while we were working on the song through email and Dropbox.
Gotcha.
And he sent me a beat for a song. I was like, okay, I love this, but I didn't know what to do on it. And I also felt a lot of pressure that came from myself.
Yeah.
Because he was chill the entire time. I just was so tense. And I actually went, after the song came out, I was like, thank you for, working with me when I had nothing out. Because this was before Secrets came out.
Yeah.
And he was ready to work with me. So
wow.
I thanked him for that.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I was such a, I kept changing things. And I was like, oh gosh, he really put up with all of that. This guy has a good heart.
Yeah.
But I thanked him for that. So yeah, he sent me the song. I had felt a lot of pressure that just came from myself on making it perfect, because I was like, it was before Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is gonna be my debut, or my first song that people really hear me actually doing something. I was like, I felt like it had to be perfect. I rewrote the verse so many times, re-recorded it so many times. There were so many versions of it. Like, the song wasn't even called Tonight at first. It was a completely different song that I made over the instrumental. And then Tonight was the final song, the millionth song that I made over that same exact instrumental that he sent me.
So you have like an EP you can put out just on Tonight. The Tonight version.
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
There's so many
Envy's
songs
version.
that I made over that. And then it came out, we finished it, well, I finished recording it and everything probably in like September of last year, because like I said, this was before Secrets.
Yeah.
But it was taking a minute to come out, and I was like, I had the what's it called, hot feet or whatever, when you want to run and do
Cold
something.
feet.
So I got to working on Dreamland.
Okay. Which is another producer.
Yeah.
From
Takatoka. He's in Austria. He's
Austria.
an Austrian producer. He's one of the most brilliant people I've ever encountered in music. His brain is just
crazy.
He's so creative. He's so talented. And he's one of those people that are so insanely creative that I don't think he realizes how insane his talent is.
Yeah.
But I love anything he does.
Yeah.
I love anything he does.
Yeah.
So Tonight was taking a minute to come out, but I wanted to have a release. So I had this one song from the Extreme mixtape, because that's where Dreamland started. It was going to be on this Extreme tape.
Yeah.
I sent him a snippet of it, and he really liked it. And then we built it into a full song, because it wasn't a full song really, because it was sort of like he did this dance track that was formatted for a club. It wasn't really formatted to be a song with a bridge, with a verses and a hook and all that stuff. And there was one part of it that I liked. I liked the full thing, of course. That's why we did the extended version, because we used more parts in the extended. And sent it to him. He sent back, like, the next day, the song structured, like, the beat restructured to be a song with space for two verses and a bridge and the whole thing. We got it done. And then I held on to it for a minute, because I was like, this is a summer song. We were doing this in the winter.
Yeah.
And then put it out May 30th. And here we are.
Here we are. With Kirby.
Yeah, with Kirby.
Before we get to that, I had another question. Let me go back to my notes up here. The trading cards.
Oh, yeah.
So one, I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I love, it goes back to the 90s thing, right? Like
the
MTV, the trading cards, the choice of font, the coloring, the graphics that you put on everything.
You pay attention, the font and everything.
Yeah, which I feel like I use the same font for Seattle's Best Brunch.
Oh, really?
Is it Moda?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I recognize that font now that I look.
Yeah,
but
I did that a long time ago.
It's a cool font. It's a cool font.
Funky.
Where did the trading cards idea come from?
That came from the idea that back in the day, they used to always have trading cards
Yeah.
for artists. I love the 90s. It's just pretty obvious. I mean, even this is inspired by 80s Madonna. Like,
Yeah.
she always had that. Like, I love all that. But yeah, artists back then always had trading cards for whatever reason. Like, if you look on the internet, there's like these Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince trading cards.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love these. And
Do you have any?
No, I don't have any. I
okay.
just seen pictures online. I've never ordered one.
Okay, we gotta get you.
I just sort of window shop and see them on the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, I love those. That sort of reminds me of that time. So, and mentally, I always am thinking I'm in that time. So that's why I made the trading cards.
We should make Seattle music trading cards.
That would be epic.
That'd be
for
so
all
dope.
the artists in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Lock idea for the future. You also mentioned in your bio that your music is where freedom and fantasy reign.
Yeah, because it's like I said, after sort of being so inspired by the fact that Trent and Janet just put their authentic selves in their music. To me, that's freeing to not have a need to feel like you need to be perfect.
Yeah.
And fantasy, that song's like Dreamland. Because, I mean, I'm talking about video games. Like, it's just, but it's a fantasy. It's just fun. So, yeah, it's just fun. I think at the end of the day with music, one thing as an artist that you don't want to do is take yourself too seriously and take this too seriously. You need to have fun with it.
Yeah, shout out.
Because if you're not having fun with it, I mean, let's be honest, streams don't pay. So what are you actually doing it for?
Unless you're like one of the top 100 or whatever. Right?
Yeah. So it's not like you're going to, get rich off of this in the digital age. I think if you're doing it, you should, number one, have a genuine love for music. And number two, have fun. As cliche as it sounds, have fun. You really should have fun.
I mean, all the things that we say are cliche because generally they're true. Like if you don't, especially to your point, if you don't enjoy the process of creating now, being in the studio, writing a verse 100 times, filming stuff, if you don't enjoy that, then you're going to be very disappointed when you get to the streams and you're like, oh no, I haven't blown up yet.
Yeah.
It's just, it just can't be about that today.
Yeah.
It
can't be about going viral on TikTok. I had a conversation with a friend about that yesterday because she was like, why don't you do it? I always have people tell me, why would you do it with TikTok? And I'm like, I put so much energy into and care into every part of my song from start to finish that I don't really make it because I'm like, I hope this 15 seconds of it goes viral. I hope this. That's not what I make my music for.
Yeah.
So
I just saw a TikTok. Very ironically, I just saw a TikTok of this artist who it's her most popular TikTok. It's got like 10,000 likes or whatever. But the TikTok's all about like, I don't want my music to blow up. I don't want to blow up as an artist. Like, I'm a singer. I love making music. I don't need to blow up. I just want to be able to do it every day.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like that's what you're talking about to a certain extent.
I would, because I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not in this to, like, viral or not, I will still be making music.
Yeah.
If I have 0 sales, I would still release another album, because music is truly what drives my spirit. Like, I need to, if I don't have that outlet, I think I would explode. I don't know what I would do if I couldn't write songs.
Yeah.
But that's been what has saved me that's what saved me in my teen years. That's what saved me up till now. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't making music.
Yeah.
So I'm not, something like going viral or not going viral, that's not what's gonna encourage or discourage me from making music. I have to make it. It's like a need in the inside that I have to do it. So
one thing that I noticed while listening through your discography, you have or at least my perception is, you have a cool ear for catchy hooks, phrasing, and melodies.
Yeah.
And like you bounce between sort of like this 90s club rapping, a little Nicki Minaj rapping.
She's the only rapper I've ever listened to. So I've never cared about rap.
And Jay Henry, of course.
Oh, of
Um,
course, yes.
and but then you also have these moments where you start singing like these little bit,
Mm,
and I think you have a pretty good voice.
thanks. My singing is definitely better on the album. I'll say that my voice has developed more
Okay.
because it took longer for me to get confident
Yeah.
in that for whatever reason. I think because it's more of a technical thing.
Mm.
I really don't know why, but everything about melodies and hooks. Because I mean, of course, the lyrics in a song are like how you let the chains off.
Yeah.
For me, at least, like that's
Okay.
the lyrics are like releasing chains for me spiritually, but melodies, that's just like that's like butter. I don't know. It's like the sugar. It just
Mm.
makes me feel good. I love a good melody and a good rhythm and like
Yeah.
makes me want to dance and just I don't know. That's like I guess it's like the sugar of the song.
Yeah.
It's like the seasoning of the song. If the song is like a meal, it's like the seasoning
good
of the
stuff.
meal. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like good lyrics, but if it doesn't have a melody that I like or like a rhythm that I like, then I don't even want to listen to the song. If it's not, the sounds aren't interesting to me, I'm not gonna care.
Yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
think both are important. Substance, but also like the jelly.
I
Together.
mean, that's why, Prince and Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson, but just Michael Jackson was so incredible, right? Because he would use his voice to add rhythm, to add melody, to add little pieces of ear candy. So the song was just constantly interesting.
Yeah, beatboxing and percussion. Of course, I can't do all that, but yeah,
Yet.
it's
You can't do it all
definitely.
yet.
You know what's so funny? I did it on Tonight. I just said
Did you?
I can't do that. Then I did it on Tonight. And there's a
You
few
forget
songs
how
I've done
you
that.
forget how good you are.
Well, thank you, but yeah, I think that's what you have to like keep in mind still. I do think that matters.
Yeah.
I do think it matters.
Yeah.
With the song being good, I do think making it be good matters.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned in an interview that, and you can hear it in the mixtape, you like making music of all genres.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, you're influenced by all genres of music and artists from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
What would you say the album coming up, what sort of genre is that? Or what sort of sound are you going for? What's inspiring you in terms of that album?
This album is locked into one genre. Unlike the music before, it's maybe sprinkles of rap, but it's generally a dance pop album, and it's inspired. The person who's heavily inspired this album is Kylie Minogue.
Okay.
I love Kylie, and I think she's been the biggest influence on this album.
Okay.
And then of course there's always gonna be my other influences: Janet, Michael, Madonna, Prince.
Of course.
I think Prince and Madonna. Well, Kylie, it's like Kylie's definitely the biggest influence on this album.
Okay.
But then after her, I'd say lyrically there could be some Prince and Madonna and Janet in terms of certain themes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's necessarily inspired. Like Kylie's actively inspiring it. I'm doing some things that they would also do, that Prince and Janet and Madonna would also do. That's not necessarily directly inspired by them, but Kylie's directly inspiring it.
Gotcha.
Best way to word it.
Gotcha. Kylie's directly inspired. So
yeah, Kylie Minogue.
She's in the studio with you?
No.
Not yet.
Met her. The closest
Let's
I've ever
go.
gotten to her was last month at Climate Pledge.
Oh, right.
At the Tension Tour, which was amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I don't drink, but they had some Kylie wine, and I was like, you know what? You got a YOLO. And I had, because I'm very lightweight, so one cup had me already done.
Yeah.
But the guy gave me two, and I was like, well, I can't
damn.
waste it.
Oh,
So
damn.
I drank both of them, and I was like, constantly running to the restroom to pee, but but it was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good night. That was a really good night.
Dope. You kind of said a quote sort of on that topic-ish, where relatability can be a relief. That's when I really realize how important it is to be present and visible as who I am. Making the music heals me. Releasing it can do the same for others.
Yeah.
So, obviously Secrets was very vulnerable. You put a lot out there. Have you had the experience where someone's told you like, hey, that really helped me, or I really resonated with this song or that song?
Yeah, that's how my friends responded to it, because I was actually like, when I released Volume 1, I felt a lot of different emotions. Just because my personality is more bubbly, and I have a people know me now, and I have a more optimistic outlook on life. I was just a bit embarrassed by the fact that my friends would hear about my past, because they didn't
Yeah.
really know about my life before Seattle.
Yeah.
And because I don't talk about the past, I'm someone who likes to live in the now. So like, this is a rare time where I'd even talk about like stuff with my family. Um, so I sort of live in the now, and I knew that they were not gonna expect to hear things that were on there.
Yeah.
Uh, and they told me, they relate in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and that was, it made me feel, like I said, relatability can be relieving. It made me feel relieved in the way it's like, yeah, I knew that I wasn't the only person in the world who dealt with these things, but it's almost like walking into the streets butt ass naked, putting certain things on a song.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt. But yeah, the response from my friends was definitely like, okay, you made the right decision. And like I said, Trent did it, Janet did it, so many other artists have done it, and it helps other people, especially if they could see that I didn't stay in the dark place, that it did get better. Because I used to think it gets better was a lie. Like, well into my 20s, I thought it gets better was a lie. I thought people who were I really had a very pessimistic mindset. I used to believe that people who were happy, like people like me now, I used to think they were faking it. I was like, there's no way you're actually happy. How are you happy in this society? I didn't believe happiness was possible. I thought everyone who was smiling, it was fake. I just thought I thought everyone has to be miserable. Everyone has to feel the way I felt. That's what I thought. So I like that the darker music is there, because right after it is the music that shows that my life actually did get better.
Yeah.
So it does get better. And even someone like me who believed that it didn't, I truly thought it was a lie, it does. So that's why I'm glad that both sides are there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to bring yourself to that point, though, right? Depending on your environment, where you're at in life. I mean, I know from my background in history, and a lot of my family struggles with that as well. But to your point, it does get better. Sometimes it requires moving across the country, or just making different life changes to bring you out of that space. Like, my dad struggled with that a lot, but then he moved, 90 minutes away. It totally changed his outlook on life.
Really?
Because it just removed him from the environment that he was used to, where he was just constantly in that headspace.
Yeah, environment's a big part of it.
Such a big thing.
Like, just changing the sort of cast of characters in the movie that is your life really can shift things around.
Yeah.
And for me, it definitely did. I think if I didn't move to Seattle, by 2025, not to be dramatic, but I honestly think I might have killed myself by now if I was still in Georgia, because I was that miserable, and I felt like there was nothing good in life. I was very, very, very depressed, and I think if I had not gotten out of that and experienced, life, it wouldn't have ended well for me. So I think changing your environment is very important when you're in that sort of space.
Well, I'm glad you moved, and I'm glad you didn't do that.
I'm glad too, right?
So you talked about I just pulled a bunch of quotes from you, all this stuff. You talked about where is it? I have a bunch of, there it is. So you talk about you sharing these things and you writing about these stories and these parts of your life. One is vulnerability and relatability. On the other side, it's like almost manifesting things. So my question to you, as you're writing this album, as you're thinking about the next, couple of years of your career, as you get to 30 years old, what are the things that you're manifesting now? What do you hope to say at your 30th birthday party?
You know, I'll be honest, I never really think that far ahead. I sort of keep it just because
How old
if
are
you
you?
even told, I'm in my mid-20s.
Mid-20s. Okay. What do you hope to say when you get to your late mid-20s?
When I get to my late mid-20s, um, I I'd have to think about that because I like even right now, a year ago, I would have had no clue that because a year ago was June 2020, yeah, June 2024. I didn't even really started. Um, I yeah, I didn't even know that Secrets and all that stuff was gonna be out a year ago.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know I'd be doing this a year ago. So like I don't know what I'm gonna be doing a year from now. So I never really think too far ahead because whatever I think, and because I'm always changing what I want, it's gonna be so different. So
Okay.
I kind of think of just like I think in the farthest ahead that I usually will think was like it's like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So a year from now, I'd like to be headlining shows. I'd like to have a project out, doing festivals around the country. I'd like to be performing. Yeah, I'd like to be performing. I think the next year of my life, I want to focus on building my stage act up.
Yeah.
I think that's what I need to focus on is my stage act and finishing my album. Just focusing on those two things so I don't overwhelm myself. Focusing on getting my stage performances together and getting this album done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Envy, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about?
Anything that we didn't talk about that I'd like to talk about? We talked about Dreamland. We talked about music. We talked about the future. We talked about the past. We talked about the present. I think we've covered a lot.
Talk about Life on Mars, which is where we're at.
Yes.
Shout out Life on
Delicious
Mars.
restaurant. And I'm starving right now. I might even get
I
something
know.
to eat after this. I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here with me today. I
Of
appreciate
course.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Again.
And I look forward to your next single.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I'm thinking I know what song I'm gonna follow Dreamland up with. It's something that's a bit different from Dreamland, but it's a song that I am obsessed with. I think it's a hypnotic song. If I choose that one, I might save it. I don't know. I got a couple of songs that I'm looking at for singles, but yeah.
All right. All right. Okay. Well, thank you.
All right.